not luck, not destiny. If it were all possible, what would you actually choose? Hello everybody, I am Reese, this is Rewrite Your Reality. Welcome. On today's video, we're going to discuss what is possible for you. What do you desire? Who do you say you are? What do you want? And why do you want it? What's really going on with reality? Now, there was a question, and it's a typical question. It's something that we usually ask when we desire something. And it can be anything, but I'm going to use the example of manifesting a specific person, manifesting an SP, right? Because that's what someone reached out with the question asking, what's going on? It's been a certain amount of time. That time, I believe, has passed, and nothing seems to be going right. I'm trying as hard as I can. You know, this is the kind of things that we really feel, the kind of things that we try to do. And we really believe that something along the lines, with any amount of effort from our three-dimensional, physically focused, presented character in the moment is somehow manifesting in the same three-dimensional experience of reality that we are experiencing. We have no power. We have no power in the three-dimensional world and experiencing of it to do anything with the immediate presented three-dimensional experience. And this is very easy to see, right? You pick a movie, any movie, and you pause it and you're looking at the frame. That's what you are. You are the paused frame in every single moment. You can pause the frame in every single moment, and that is exactly what you are in both ways. You are the character you are looking at, and you are the three-dimensional reality you are projecting. And you are experiencing yourself from within the projection. You're creating a version of yourself anchored in that three-dimensional experience, experiencing it. That's the only way you can. And every single part of it is another version of you seeing it from that specific vantage point. So when you're looking at the three-dimensional world paused, it's not just you that's consciousness. Everything is consciousness and consciously being aware of itself. Now, from that three-dimensional paused screen, you, the character, can you do anything to rearrange that screen? No. So what rearranges the screen? You as awareness. When you recognize yourself as power, as the creator, as God, as reality, or as that infinite intelligence that is being your specialized version of that same infinite intelligence, you realize the character doesn't do anything. No amount of effort from the character changes the frame that it's in. It's only experiencing another frame where it's experiencing, feeling some sort of effort. Pause the screen, any movie, any part of it, especially an emotional part, and look at that emotional experience. Does any amount of emotion, any amount of doing change what's going on? The character can be crying, the character can be screaming, the character can be stoic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the physical circumstances it's experiencing. The manner in which it experiences it, I think it's right, doesn't change the circumstance that it's in. It can be angry, it can be sad, it can be stoic, as I said, but the circumstance itself does not change in that frame. What happens? The movie keeps playing, and it plays out the movie that it was destined to play. So where does destiny come in? And that's why I chose specific person as an interesting concept, because it's a really fun way to show how everything moves in conjunction with each other. Because it shows you the idea of free will and the free will of consciousness, which is where most people get a little confused. You see, every single person has free will. That means every single person has and infinite destinies associated with every version of every person. And I say every version of every person because every person has infinite variations of themselves. Not just you as a hard set physical being, you have multiple versions from now. No, as awareness, you have infinite versions of whatever you are projected or projecting yourself as. It doesn't matter. You can imagine your childhood halfway across the globe, and where you will stumble is trying to recognize, okay, well, how does my past rearrange to me living halfway across the world? It doesn't. Because from the past you are choosing to remember as real for you, you can't rearrange it to make it make sense to you that you live wherever you desire to be living now in this idea. So what really goes on? You recognize it's an entirely brand new lifeline, not just from wherever you are projecting from, but in every literal sense of the way. Nothing about anything else in your physical reality has any kind of evidence to who you are now imagining yourself in this moment, because everything exists. You literally believing and imagining and choosing to embody a version of you that was born halfway across the world from where you physically present yourself to be right now, that exists as its own infinite projected timeline. And it's one with you. That version is you, and that reality is you. Now you have the free will as consciousness to really understand that what NevilleGoddard was saying, and he said this quite aptly, is that imagination is reality. So when you are imagining that, when you are imagining something plain and simple, that I now live here, you are rearranging time and space for it to make sense to you. It's so plain and simple that we often misunderstand it, interpreting it in our own ways instead of seeing it straight. That imagination is reality. That what you are imagining exists. It exists with a past you can't fully understand because you don't have that viewpoint. Even as consciousness, you don't have the full viewpoint of your entire being, because your higher self has the full viewpoint of what you are entirely being. But you have the awareness that whatever it is you can be, you must already be being somewhere within your own awareness. So when you recognize, when you imagine that you have this tendency to recreate a certain scenario, like with a specific person, that they're not speaking to me, the circumstances prevent it, the distance is this, the conditions are that, the requirements for me to actually be in that kind of relationship is this and that they don't matter. Yeah, sure, it's normal to think about things that you have been aware of, but it is natural to recognize you are no longer that version of yourself that you are thinking of. Otherwise, why would you be thinking of it? You would be being it. You are not being it, so you are thinking of it, so you can't actually be it, because you never were, and you always were consciousness. And when you recognize your consciousness in the most unhinged way possible, where no actual moment is connected to any kind of past or present that you think it is, that any kind of moment here and now, right now, whatever you are considering here and now, right now, whatever you are imagining can only be happening here and now, right now, because you are consciousness. It has its own past, it has its own future. You are being, doing, and having in your imagination exactly who you are being, doing, and having in your imagination, because that's reality. And that's what people tend to not understand. That what you are being in your imagination as reality, as awareness, even here in the 3D physical manifested moment to moment to moment, is reality. Because what you say is reality, is what you are imagining reality to be, which must be what reality is. So if you look at this, you are source, you contain everything. And we tend to think that because we're sitting here depressed in the rain on a bench, that's who and what we are conscious of being in the moment, in this now frame. But it's only one moment in the frame. It doesn't have a story unto itself. You see, there's no story to that picture. There's no story to that picture. Yes, it has its own past that is written in stone. Yes, it has its own future that's written in stone. But your experiencing of it is not written in stone, because every single moment in the now is also connected to that frame. So that moment, while it has no meaning, it can be fitted and is fitted in every reality, so it has every meaning. While something has no meaning, it can be given every meaning because it also has every meaning while not actually meaning something specific at the same time. See, reality is everything, so every part of it can mean anything you give it meaning of. So it's only one moment in one story that you are currently experiencing, and the next moment of it isn't even that same story. It's another version of that story. It's another version of that story. Even if it looks the same almost to the previous moment that you were experiencing it. So now when you imagine, your imaginational choice and being that version of you for whom and through whom that desire and that reality is real for. When you are embodying and experiencing and recognizing this is that reality, this is that specific person, this is that home, this is that money, this is that me, that is all of this, that has all of this, that is experiencing all of this in the way that I simply desire to be, and I am already being this person because I am experiencing being them right now. That's my reality. We often create the separation in appearances that make us believe that we have to try and get imagination into our three-dimensional world by trying to will it into being. And that's where the idea of, well, it's really hard to manifest. Why? How can it be hard to manifest when you don't have any kind of effort applying to manifesting your desired dream life? Because you only make a choice. How is it effort to make a choice? If you have effort to make a choice, that means you still think you are doing something. Power does not do something. Power just is. A battery energizes something, but the power within that battery has no effort whatsoever. It's just being power. You are power. So this is in reality what's really going on. That imaginational frame, it's connected with this now moment. How do you know it's connected with this now moment? Because in this now moment, you are still imagining it. In this now moment, you are imagining this moment, and you are imagining the moment you desire to be standing in and as the identity you want to be standing in there and as. So obviously it's connected. Within this now moment, you are experiencing yourself within this now moment, and within this now moment, you are also experiencing yourself within the now moment you desire to be in. And you recognize that the moment you desire to be in, standing there in this now moment, you are the creator of, and you are remembering the creation of this now moment you are standing presently in. And I know that sounded a little confusing as to which one you want to do, which one is your desired end and the now, but that's the point, that there is no difference. Because imagination and 3D reality are not separate. It's one moment happening as your story. You are the bridge. You see, those two images superimposed onto each other. I left a little gap so you can see both of them, but in reality, there is a bridge that's created from this now moment to the other now moment, to the other now moment. And you recognize that the identity from both of those pictures, the one alone, the one with a specific person, must have already always existed. And from both of those pictures, it has a new past to unfold into that new future. And from that future, it has a new future to unfold from that old past. The gap between them and from them exists right now, and it is expanded infinitely. And it is brand new to you as awareness. You're using a desired end to understand that what you desire to be, do, and have is happening right now. It is brand new, and you are choosing that as an anchored point of identity to experience that version of yourself, to know yourself as source. Whew! Okay, mouthful there, right? But that's really it. When you imagine something, you are being it. And when you are being it, that's what you are being right now. And that's what's unfolding. It's identity unfolding for you through and as you. We get tripped up wanting to see the specific person, the car, the money, the house, the bank account, the traveling, the change in scenery. But everything is changing in every single moment, regardless of how small or how big the changes seem to you. It's brand new because reality is infinite. It has no point to repeat itself other than you believing it's repeating itself. So even the repetition is an illusion. It's always new. It's always right now. It's always whatever you are imagining, because what you are imagining, you yourself are actually the now moment. You are giving yourself the understanding of the now moment while being the now moment, so you can experience the story of whatever is happening now is you. So when you imagine, and someone is thinking about months of waiting, unconsciously recreating 9 months of not having something, but since time does not actually exist outside of our awareness of the experiencing of time, it's just a construct of identity being expressed. That 9 months wasn't created 9 months prior to where you are. It can only be created backwards. So right now you're saying, I have no contact with this person for 9 months. And you create the story of 9 months having gone by and you're standing here having not experienced anything. Because that's where you are now. And it doesn't just create that 9 months backwards, it creates however many months forward. Infinite. Because there's no limit to it. Because 9 months and 9 months forward don't actually exist. It's just a story. You're creating the idea that I continuously experience 9 months, and out of that fear, I fear that I'm going to continuously experience more months not having any contact with this person. And you are not having contact with a person that you never had any contact with. No, but I met them, I know them, we've been in a relationship before. No, the version of you who was in a relationship with them, that met them. And that version of them met you. In fact, they never not ever knew each other. Those two versions always knew each other. Why? Because there's no such thing as an actual past. Everything exists right now. So if everything exists right now, not linearly, vertically, it all exists together. No past, no present. And remember, vertical is an idea, right? There's no past behind them. They always knew each other. It was created, they were literally created as infinity of always having known each other. So what then? And how do you know this? Because every life has already been lived with the desired expression behind it and forward, but those expressions are superimposed because all past and future events expand from identity, but they're all together as one whole lifeline. There's no true beginning. There's no true beginning of reality. The entire thing is its own beginning and end. Every lifeline is a set of finite experiences, but these are infinite in possibility. You are choosing from within yourself each moment. If you just paused the universe at this moment, there's infinite number of things to see within this, but the finite moment will never go forward. We'll just experience infinity in this one moment because it's infinite. So when we actually press play and we go forward, what's it going forward into and as? Because it can be infinitely variable. And we experience that through choice, through circumstances, through a rearrangement of conditions. Because in any moment, if you don't have the free will to know that you can choose anything, then reality becomes finite. But if you know I can be, do, and have anything because my awareness is showing me I can be, do, and have anything, because I am that awareness, being, doing, and having everything, then no matter what I choose to be doing right now, a choice of embodiment of identity. That means reality can be infinite because it must be. And we get confused again by thinking, well, you can't do something specific in this moment. Yeah, sure, there are an infinite number of actions that I can take right now. Most of them are just irrelevant to me, to us, to whomever. But as a choice of embodying a certain identity, those are actually infinite right now, right here. So you have every action to take by embodying and choosing and making a decision. I am that. Time doesn't exist, so any decision you make about yourself right now must be from a life that you are living concurrently right now. Now for the subscriber, those 9 months mean she has been seeing herself on a script over and over and over for those months, having unfolded over and over and over. She's calling it into awareness as if it's real, but it's only the current potential of experiencing. This is the only reality right now, that I have not had any contact with this person. And infinity says, yeah, because that exists infinitely. You are also created infinitely, not having any contact with this person forever. There has to be that version, and you are experiencing it over and over and over. In your imagination, you make the rules. In your reality, you define your identity, because you are reality. So how can you not? Now, when you imagine the version of a specific person who loves you and the version of you who is chosen, you in the relationship, that is reality. You aren't creating it. That's it. How can it not be? When you are the one imagining it, you're calling forth the version of them who loves you. You're calling forth the version of yourself who is loved and chosen and loves them because you are love. You are the creator. You are the light. You are everything in your imagination being it. They may try to make that 3D reality happen. They wait for it, try to make it happen. They're unconsciously saying, hey, this isn't reality yet, but I would like it to be. Because if you refuse to assume it, you are asserting that it is something else. That's what you're saying. If you refuse to assume that this now moment is the reality you are imagining, that I am that identity regardless of whatever happens, then you are asserting that it is something else. And that is an assumption, and you are using the evidence of the appearances of the changing three-dimensional reality as real. When in reality, it's only a prop in this now moment that has no meaning, as I said, because none of it dictates who you are. But you are using it as an idea to let it dictate who you are. But in reality, you are the one just dictating who you are. God doesn't care about the reason. He just says, yeah, okay, here's more of what you don't want. Because you believe in the evidence more than the reality you are imagining as the awareness of the imaginational scene itself. But it's only sensing what you are saying is reality. And then we say it's hard. We say things are hard, but it's not hard. That's only a story. Nothing's hard. You manifested this now moment as awareness. Did you feel it? What about this one? What about this one? No, you didn't feel it. What you are feeling is you trying to make this that. But that is this. One is the other. Every time you are seeing reality in every moment, you are seeing a new you and a new everyone else, including your specific person, including yourself. There's never been an objective version of anything. There is no spoon circa the matrix. This is not a spoon like that painting, which I can't remember who painted it, but there is no spoon. This is not a spoon, but it is a spoon, but it's a painting of a spoon. So when you're looking at a spoon, it's a spoon from your three-dimensional self, but as awareness, it's just a snapshot of reality being everything that it can be. The idea of enjoying your imagination as the only reality becomes fun because it's not a requirement that the 3D moment, which is changing all the time, has to match it in appearance for it to be real already. Trying to make it happen is hard because you're trying to rearrange God from your small self. You can't rearrange most things in reality from your physical self, but you're trying to rearrange reality when God as you is being reality. You don't have that power from here, as I said. Hard is an indication that you are not actually creating your desired life. You are fighting against a non-existent power to change things. Not God is a non-existent power, but you are fighting against something you believe is holding reality in this, trying to not make it that. And you are trying to make it that by pushing against this. Imagining does not create reality. It is what reality is now. Your assumption is reality as in it is reality. It's not making reality happen. You are assuming this is what my reality is. So when you are imagining and you are seeing who you are and have chosen to be, simply assume that is what the 3D story of the world is that you are now experiencing and happening right now, regardless of appearances, thoughts, or feelings as it unfolds. Now imagine it fully. The reality of being in and as your dream life. And yes, you accept it exists right this moment. You're accepting that not only does your dream life exist, you are accepting that every single thing that you can be aware of, every imaginational scene, wanted or unwanted, every moment wanted or unwanted, every interaction wanted or unwanted, every moment of time, whether you are physically projecting yourself in it or not, is one with you, that you are the entire universe expressed as consciousness, and you are that same consciousness. That's what you are accepting, that there's one unified infinite knowing happening, and you are one with that unified infinite knowing that we call the great awareness, we call God, we call reality. That's who you are. There's one unified energy, and you are consciously one with that unified energy, and you are conscious. You're the only conscious thing in your reality. Everything else you are experiencing is another point of consciousness, but it's always changing. You're the only constant awareness in your reality. You think everyone else in your reality is that same consciousness that's constantly being aware of that version of themselves. No, they're not. Because there's no true version of yourself or anyone. So you are constantly being aware of different versions of yourself. So every single version of you is branching off into infinity. So you're only being ever aware of one tiny part of yourself. But none of that actually does anything. It's a knowing that manifests everything, because you recognize I am everything. And when you're aware of being everything and being the version of you that is experiencing everything you want to, that is your life now. You knowing yourself means remembering you are, I am everything. I am all possibilities, and I choose this reality consciously that I am aware of now. The shift doesn't take months, it doesn't take years. It happens right now in this moment of acceptance that I am who I say I am. You can literally say, yes, I am this. I choose this. Okay, let's go. Yes, I am this. I choose this. Okay, let's go. And then you live it fully. Doesn't matter what happens. The struggle doesn't matter. You're feeling like you're struggling one day and you feel like you're struggling with the next day. You feel good, you feel bad. Doesn't matter. How can it matter? You paused the movie watching the character feel that. It doesn't change the circumstance. Doesn't change the ending. Because you are already the version of yourself who lives it. From that identity, everything else naturally aligns with you. It has to. So remember, not luck, not destiny. If all realities are possible, what would you actually choose to experience as yourself right now? And I am grateful that you guys are all here with me. Thank you so much. Much love and much light. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for emailing. Thank you for hitting the notification bell. Thank you for following. Thank you for joining the Facebook page. Thank you for following the Facebook page. Thank you for following the TikTok page and joining there as well. And much love, much light, and I will see you all in the next one.